Welcome to
Succeed, Even If. I'm Tom Marcoux.
And I'm Johanna McLeod.
In this episode, we're talking about secrets of the business storyteller's edge for success and beyond. Johanna, when has a story captured your attention?
I heard a story once where a monk said that Steve Jobs had all the focus of a monk, but none of the compassion.
Well, that's intense. And that's what makes a powerful story too. All the words are well selected.
Mm-hmm.
When the monk said all the focus of a monk, but none of the compassion, a lot of things are working here in this story. For one thing, it's a monk saying this.
Mm-hmm.
A monk would know what monks are focused on.
Mm-hmm.
A monk would have that life experience. There's an authenticity here. So the idea of a story being well-selected words that bring up emotion, and then also there's an economy of the words, meaning that we're using few words, but they captivate, they compel, and the storyteller who works on the story comes across with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to remember. I take the three things, captivating, compelling, and confident, and I call them the C stack.
So in this episode, I'm going to focus on two major sections of ideas. The first section is what I call the three tells. Now, a lot of people know about tells in terms of playing poker, that a tell reveals what the person is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
If the person has a good hand, if they have a certain tell.
It's like a tick that you can tell that they've either got a good hand or a bad hand.
Exactly. This is why a lot of poker players wear sunglasses. They don't want their eyes to give them away.
Mm-hmm.
But when I talk about the business storyteller's edge, and I talk about the three tells, I'm talking about actually what do you say as you express a story. The first tell is you tell the point. The second tell is you tell the story. And the third tell is you tell the point again. Now, the reason why this is so important is because people go into a story and the listener says, why are you telling me this? They don't say that out loud, but inside their own mind, you want to share the point. You could say it as simply as this. This reminds me of a time I was working with a client named Sam, and he had the same situation you're talking about, George. We have a point, so we'll have a story that has relevance.
Or common ground.
Exactly. After you tell the story, you need to tell the point again, because people tell a story and then the listener goes, what was that story about?
Mm-hmm.
What was the point of that story? You can say it as simply as this. I shared that story because Sam had a similar situation as you, George, and you see how this service solved the problem. The three tells, once again, tell the point, tell the story, tell the point again. Now, here's a crucial element of this process. I call it IDA, like the female name, IDA, I-D-A. The first part is identify. You need to have the listener identify with the situation, with the character in your story, with the problem. They need to identify or they will not give you their attention. Mm-hmm. They'll drift away. So I of IDA is identify. The second part is desire. And what do we desire? We desire a benefit. So it's very important to have desire and benefit clear. And A of IDA is avoid missing out. Here's the crucial thing. People walk past benefits all the time. Mm-hmm. Benefits are not strong enough. You could tell someone that this is going to save you some money. You could tell them that this is going to make your life easier. But if they have a pain point, they'll pay attention. Mm-hmm. Now, when you think about avoid missing out, FOMO has so much power over a huge number of people. And that's how many of us are glued to our smartphones. Mm-hmm. FOMO, fear of missing out. We don't want to lose a chance, an opportunity to be in the know, to keep up with trends, to come across as smart and connected. That's why all three parts of IDA, identify, desire, avoid missing out, are crucial in your storytelling. Mm-hmm. That's the business storyteller's edge. Both IDA, identify, desire, avoid missing out, and the three tells. Tell the point, tell the story, tell the point again. Mm-hmm. Now, what's crucial about all of this is those two parts, the three tells and IDA, help you come across as captivating. You come across as compelling. People will do stuff. They will follow what you're suggesting. and the three tells are part of the business storyteller's edge, because that's how you come across as captivating, compelling, and confident.
All together are what I call the C stack.
Now, how does one make sure that the story is that powerful, that effective? It's all about testing. For example, when I teach this material to MBA students, the title is The Business Storyteller's Edge: How to Stand Out in Job Interviews and Get What You're Worth for Your Salary.
Oh, I would go to that.
Exactly. The words are well chosen. Now, as I was working on this, I thought of shine, how to shine, but that's not as powerful as stand out. You must stand out to get the job. You must stand out from the crowd. Just shining is not good enough. And by the way, that's not good enough storytelling. The other part, get what you're worth. That's absolutely crucial. Because if you don't negotiate your salary, you're likely not to get what you're worth because the employer wants a bargain. They want all kinds of value for very little money. You need to stand your ground. By the way, one idea in terms of negotiating for a better salary is to actually say, is that the best you can do?
Very good.
Because you are telling a story. It means that you are worth it. And they would do well if they had you on their team because you bring excellent value. There's this idea that, do you want someone who's excellent or do you want somebody who's just a bargain and second rate? You want someone who's excellent because they're going to be worth to the organization 3, 6, 10 times the amount of investment in their salary. But you have to demonstrate that with stories. And to stand out, whether in a job interview or to stand out to get what you want or get something done in an organization, you got to have the business storyteller's edge. You've got to come across. When you are developing your stories, I'll give an example. So a story that I've said on a number of stages around the world is this. Years ago, I learned a crucial detail that has made me effective for the rest of my career. I was a first-time film director on the set, and the set was San Luis Obispo Airport. This is before 9/11, so we were on the runway. And the cameraman's supposed to get a simple shot. An American Eagle airplane is supposed to come straight toward the camera, and then the wing is supposed to go over the camera. I had just been told we have to leave in less than 20 minutes from that set. This was a breaking of an agreement of how long we were supposed to be on location, for 3 hours. And we've only been there for 49 minutes.
Oh, geez.
I was full of fear because how am I going to get the shots? How am I going to finish this thing? If I don't succeed here, we have no ending to the feature film. It's my first feature film and I'll have no ending. It'd be easy to fall into the trap of staring at my binder. But in my heart and in my intuition, I knew, look at the whole set. And what I saw was the plane was coming down the runway, the cameraman was standing too tall, and I could yell, and he looked my way and bam, get hit in the head by the wing.
Oh my gosh.
But instead, what I did was I ran over to him, I grabbed him by the jacket, pulled him down, the wing cut the air where both their heads had just been. And what I learned was to follow my intuition, and I learned to look at the whole picture, look at the whole set. That's how you avoid tragedy. That's how you avoid disaster, by keeping your eyes up and look at the whole set, look at the whole situation, and make sure as the leader, you are leading and you take full responsibility. So that's an example of my giving a story. And at the end there, I was talking about what is the point? Now, if I was in a conversation, in a job interview, or talking to a team, I would tell the point before the story. I would say, here's a time years ago where I learned that I have to trust my intuition and I have to look at the whole situation. Years ago, I was on the set. I was a first-time movie director. That's how I would do it. I would frame the story, I would tell the story, and then I would tell the point again. Oh, this is a good time for a Marcoux moment. This is when I share just an excerpt from one of my 52 books.
Cool.
The excerpt comes from my book, Convince Investors to Fund You: The Insider's Guide to Avoid Deadly Mistakes and Gain Real Success with Your Startup Business. On page 39, the idea is give the emotional hook. And the important thing is when you express a pitch or a story, what you want to do is realize the person is deciding right from the first seconds of what you say. They decide, yes, this makes sense. I want to know more. Yes, I like this person giving this pitch. They seem worth listening to. Yes, this is a big idea. I'm interested. On this page, I talk about what is a big idea. When I say big idea, I focus on unfair advantage, disruption, and big profits. These items are what the investors focus on. So that material was an excerpt from my book, Convince Investors to Fund You. So coming back to the business storyteller's edge, and we talked about two things. The three tells: tell the point, tell the story, tell the point again, and then IDA: identify, desire, avoid missing out. Johanna, I'm curious. What are you going to keep from our conversation?
I really like the identify part, because if you have someone identify with a detail, they'll follow along with the story you tell.
Exactly. If they feel connection to the character, they feel a connection to the situation, they feel a connection to the problem, and they're curious, and they feel the suspense, you got them, and they'll come with you.
Yes.
Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Tom. This broadcast is brought to you by Tom's 8 courses on Udemy.com.
Yes, that's udemy.com. I teach courses in confidence, film directing, novel writing, and more.
Click to subscribe to this channel.
And you'll support me, Johanna, and our message.
And go to Amazon for Tom's 50-plus books.
And connect with me at my website, getthebigyes.com. Many great moments to you.
Catch you next time.